typical stuff that happens today. Um, I want to make a very heartfelt request, okay? Um, there are a few people in this room who have not made it a habit to report your numbers. I just want to see that you're alive every week, okay? Just take a couple moments and take stock of where you are. Okay, so most of the, whenever, like I've been coached for many years, right? And whenever I'd show up to a coaching call, one of two things would happen. The very first thing out the gate was, Bill, why haven't you reported your numbers? Or what are your numbers, right? And the conversation was going to go in one of two directions. If I was not on track, we didn't talk about anything fun at all. Okay, we talked about the past and why I wasn't on track and what was getting in the way of me doing what I know I have to do to get to where I want to be, right? And the whole phone call felt like crap, okay? And quite frankly, that's the coaching I needed that day because I was off track, right? Or I hadn't figured out a way to develop the habits I needed, okay? And that's what the coaching session was on. On the days that I was on track, it was like, hey, how's the family? What are we building next? What project are we working on? Let's talk about the future. You see what I'm saying? What's more fun? April, I think you know the answer to that. What's more fun? Talking about the past or talking about the future?
Talking about the future.
That's right. That's right. Does that make sense? Okay.
Definitely.
So, guys, every single one of you, I'm just double checking. Yep, every single one of you can clobber this business. Okay. We just need to develop some very basic habits of managing our time, generating leads every single day, taking accountability around what we do and whether that's creating the successes we want. And then hopefully sooner than later, we quit this group coaching stuff and you earn yourself a one-on-one each week. Does that make sense? Now, April, can I put you on the spot for a moment?
Go ahead.
Okay, tell me if you think I'm speaking out of line here, but y'all are lucky to be in group 2 with April. Okay, because I have seen a quite a transition in your mindset and behavior in the last couple of weeks. What all caused that?
Taking accountability for myself, realizing that I need to do these things for myself because nobody else is going to do them. Understanding that I have the resources available, I just have to use them. And going through the business and realizing that there's a lot more that I could be doing and looking at the end game, just like knowing what I want the end to be.
Okay, can I push a little bit on that? What is the end? What do you mean by that? Tell me, when you think about like kind of the future, like a year from now or 5 years from now or 20 years from now, like what do you think about? And why is now that you're a little bit more clear on that, what has that done for you on a daily basis? Because I got to be honest, if you guys can have a turnaround like April had, you will clobber this business. Okay, tell everyone a little bit more about that, April, please.
You saying what's like was my motivation? It's pretty much why I had to really sit back and think, like, if I want to be a lot more advanced this time next year, what do I need to do? And right now, my big why is my children, my bank account, my husband, my lifestyle. I want to be able to not have to live check to check or have to borrow from anyone or depend on anyone. I want my bank account to reflect my hard work. I want to be able to look at my bank account and say, wow, this is what I worked for. Okay, let's go on a family vacation, or let's do this, or let's do that. And, not have to worry about it because it's there. So I had to change my whole mindset because that's where I want to be. That's my ultimate goal, is to have funds available to do things that everybody else are doing.
And you deserve that, don't you?
Definitely.
And you clearly, let me just double check this, but you clearly believe you have the potential for that, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. We had a pretty tough conversation a week or two ago, didn't we?
We did.
Okay. And I learned a little bit about you, and you learned a little about me, and we both were a little vulnerable, and we both probably got our feelings hurt a little bit, but here we are, right?
We're back at it again. I mean, sometimes those tough conversations have to be had, but it's just how you come back from them and realize that, you know, the people around you are the people that does have your best interest at heart, or else they wouldn't be around you.
Very well said. And I just want to publicly say I'm very, very proud of you. I walked into the big room the other day, and I hear, you know, if you need any, you know, connections with a local, you know, painter or handyman or whatever, I want you to feel comfortable calling me. I can be your resource. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like such a proud papa here. This is awesome. Okay. So let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I can honestly say that, you know, once we did have so I've been doing things like I've been really hitting it really
April,
hard the past couple of days.
April, say all that one more time, please. You went out for a second.
Oh, my apologies. I said once we did have that hard conversation, it just put my mindset differently. And I've been really using my resources and things around me to really do what I have to do. And I've been really hitting it hard the past couple of days.
Yeah. Well, I can tell. And I'm sure you can too. You're starting to get some more confidence, right?
Definitely.
Confidence is the name of the game, you guys. It's the name of the game. I want to remind everyone we're doing the 5. Thank you for sharing all that, April. I'm super grateful. I want to remind everyone we're doing the 5-day challenge. The 5-day challenge homework pretty much every day is sending out video text to your people, right? To your database, your friends, your neighbors, your old colleagues, whatever it may be, people that know you, and you're using this as an opportunity to reconnect with them in a way that is, number one, a little more unusual, and number two, in a way that resonates with them. People are staring at their video and screen all day long. So if you're communicating strictly with white and black words, as opposed to video, as opposed to them seeing your face, there's some limitation there, right? And the vast majority of agents aren't even touching their database, much less communicating with them through video. Make sense? So I just want to do a friendly reminder every morning, 8:30, tune in, you get a little motivation for the day, you learn a thing or two, you see your peer group, and you start to really show up for work, right? Tell me a little bit about, oh, one last thing, and then I want to kind of go around in a circle for a second. I want to ask you guys, just please, once a week, just put up your results, okay? If I see the results, then I know how to coach you. If I don't see the results, I don't even know if you're alive, right? I want to get to the point where, Matt, if you don't have your numbers posted in a certain, when the deadline comes, I'm like, dude, are you okay? You on the side of the road somewhere? You need help? You need me to bring dinner? You're in jail, right? Like I used to say to my client, I had a client one time that says, you told me you were going to send me something and you didn't send it. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Check it right now. It's not true. Check it. Sure enough, she checked it. It was sitting in her mailbox. I said, look, if I tell you I'm going to do something and I don't do it, call the cops. Something's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So can your people expect that same level of service from you, right? Are you coming to work every day and sitting down at your workstation? And are you committed every single day to practicing, to learning, to communicating with your people, to growing the number of people you're communicating with? April, after a handful of calls, you just feel like a whole different woman, don't you?
Definitely. And I actually have an idea to share towards the end about something that I learned not learned, but I had an idea in Vulcan that actually got me a couple people to add to my database.
Can you share it now?
Yeah. So I was doing a lot of circle prospecting and everything. And I'm from Michigan. So like my area codes, they're like 248-313. So I went in Vulcan and I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what happens. So I typed in the 313 area code and a list popped up. And I just started reaching out to everyone that had, like a 313, whether if it was a withdrawn, an expired, or FSBO. But my main thing and my main connection point was, hey, I see we're both from Detroit. I see we're both from Michigan. We had that connection. I'm here. I just want to make sure that all of your real estate needs are being taken care of out here in Georgia as someone who's from Michigan. And I made those connections. I called about 30 people yesterday from those lists. And I had 4 people that was like, yeah, add me to your database. Go ahead, send me some information. And if I do need real estate needs, I'll definitely, keep you in mind. So I definitely want to delve into that a little bit more as far as, my hometown and making that connection with people.
That is an awesome idea. We used to do, we learned something very similar to that idea in a networking class I was in a while back. And one of the things that we were taught to do was when we get in front of somebody, or in this case on the telephone, you are trying to figure out something that you have in common as soon as possible. Right? Oh, you're from Chicago? I'm from Chicago. Oh, you have a mother named Mary? I got a mother named Mary. Right? Oh, you like soccer? I like soccer. Right? Because as soon as you find something you have a connection with, it changes the entire energy around that experience, right? It's those kind of unique kind of thoughts that are going to cause you to stand out from your competition. Does that make sense? Okay. What have you got? I want to, one more thing I want to remind you guys about. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 to 10:15, there is something called a high accountability group. Okay, it's hosted by Robert Doyle. Robert's the director of career development from Georgia Legacy Group, and the links are in the email. So from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 to 10:15, this is something called a high accountability group. So you go around the circle and you basically say, in the last 48 hours, this is what I've done to earn a client, and in the next 48 hours, this is what I intend to do to earn a client. And then 2 days later, 48 hours later, you do the same thing. Hey, in the last 48 hours, I told you I was going to knock on 50 doors. I did it. This are the results. And this is what I intend to do over the next 48 hours. I'm going to encourage everyone to participate in that. Okay. Because number one, you're going to hear a lot of ideas for ways to generate leads. And you're going to hear that like this stuff works, right? The more conversations you have, the more opportunities you're going to have, the more people you'll put in your database, the more people in your pipeline, all of that. Okay. What are you guys hearing today? Mindy, by the way, is crushing it on video. Okay. She's one of our best. She's on our short list here of people that are participating to the fullest. So I'm proud of you. Very proud of you.
Thank you. It was really hard to do those videos for me. Let me tell you, I was really uncomfortable, not necessarily doing them, but sending them. But now I'm all right with it.
And it only took 2 days to make that. I mean, that is a potentially a life-changing turnaround, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, because I have a hard time coming out of my comfort zone. I can talk to anybody, but for some reason I am having a comfort zone issue with like making calls and all that. Although April, I have to say, I absolutely love your idea. I will be stealing that.
So please do. That's why I shared it. It's very helpful.
We do this. That's why we do this.
That's awesome. Because things like that, like I would be able to talk about my hometown, no problem, and have, zero issues doing that. For some reason, I have a block with everything else, but these videos are starting to loosen me up a little bit with the block. So
yep, that's why we do it. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You guys, I've said this a couple of times, but let me try to kind of put it all together for a second. I don't mean any offense to anyone on this, okay? Please don't take this the wrong way. The average real estate agent isn't that good, okay? They're not committed to growing their database. They're not committed to systems, models, technology, tools, resources. They're not committed to time blocking or getting smarter every day. And therefore, they only have a couple sales on average per year, okay? I believe that every one of you guys obviously is way more capable than that. Okay. All of you are way beyond average. But understand that if the average consumer goes and finds the average agent, they're probably going to leave themselves open to more trouble or risk than is necessary, and most likely will leave money on the table. Is that a fair comment?
Definitely.
Okay, so let's look at the alternative. The alternative is they get in touch with you and you guide them through the contract process and the expectation setting, and you make sure that all the deadlines are hit and they get protected, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't you believe that you're going to work harder than the average agent? Don't you believe that you are more knowledgeable, or you have the resources around you to help you be more knowledgeable? Is there anybody that believes they're below average on this phone call right now? Okay, so the consumer out there would be lucky to receive a call from you. Because if they don't receive a call from you, their realtor of choice might be a lousy realtor. So as somebody who has a mission to help people in the community build wealth and get their family in the right place for whatever reason is important to them, it's our duty to call them to prevent them from working with the lousy agent, right? I think about that all the time, right? When I'm calling people that work at other firms or whatever, or that have, let's just say businesses that are far below what they're all capable of. If I don't make the call, they're clearly not getting the help from their leaders where they're at. Somebody's got to call them because they got in this business to have an awesome life. You see what I'm saying? So whenever I'm having a crappy day and I don't feel like making the phone calls, I do it because it's got to get done. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do to get things we're not used to having, right?
That's true.
There's kind of like a, kind of a crappy part of every job, if you will. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can have a lot of fun making the phone calls. Y'all like solving problems, right? Everyone? If you don't like solving problems, you probably picked the wrong business. You like solving problems, right? Okay, we can't solve a problem unless we identify it. So are you studying your scripts every day to make sure that you know the questions to ask the sellers to identify their problem or their motivation? The question to ask the buyers to identify their problem or their motivation. Make sense? All right, for those that haven't talked yet, what's on your mind? Guys are so quiet today.
Bill,
Yes, ma'am.
I've been actually working quite a bit behind the scenes, but as I don't know if you knew, but I'm going in a marketing. I have a marketing firm that is building my listing and branding me actually.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And my question to you, because I've been working in Remine, I've taken a lot of courses and training through Remine, and I wanted to be pretty strong in my neighborhood. So I've identified out of 2,800 homes, 118 homes that have owned for 7 years to 20 years.
Okay.
And I want to send out a handwritten note card, letting them know that I'm their neighbor and how I can be of some help to them on any level.
Yep.
Not just, are you selling your home? You mentioned the name of that note card company because I've been researching and they seem pretty darn expensive. A company online that I could order from if I know what I wanted. And
you're talking about just a blank note card, right?
yeah, I think so. I mean, because everything that's printed,
Greta did something that looked like it was custom handwritten, in that they did the course on one of these sessions, Bill. I don't know if that might help myself as well as Kimberly here.
Are you talking about like the thing that it's like printed, but it looks like your handwriting or whatever, like send out?
Well, it could be a beginning line of something that's pre-printed, like hi, I'm your neighbor. I can pull it up because I was just looking at it. Hold on. And
Look
then
at these
maybe,
real fast. See this?
yeah, that's exactly what I was kind of looking at.
Okay, this right here, it's a blank note card. The note card is empty or blank, I should say, on the inside. Okay, and it's kind of real estate themed, if you will, like it's got like a door knocker or a bunch of colorful doors or something like that. I just posted it on the thing. It's called Note Card Cafe.
What is it called? Note card?
Note Card Cafe. It's on the WhatsApp chat now.
Okay.
On the group too. Okay, and it's totally blank inside. Okay, so this is great for, you know, it was so nice to meet you at the open house. I loved meeting your two daughters. They're so cute. Hope you had fun at the, you know, ice cream place after you left the house. Would love an opportunity to help you achieve your real estate goals. I'm here to help you, right? And drop a card in there. It could say something like, hey, I'm your neighbor and I'm working with buyers that want to be in this community, right? Would you consider selling your home to one of our buyers? Like the golden letter that Andy Peters has been talking about, right? It could be the golden handwritten note saying essentially the same thing. These are, they come with, I mean, they're pretty thick. If you come into my office, I'll give you a handful of them, okay? I got a bunch here. They're nice, you know, glossy, hard stock, colorful and everything. You get them with an envelope. You get 72 of these with envelopes for like $17 or $18.
Okay.
You can't find anything cheaper than that. I mean, you could at the dollar store maybe, but it's quite obvious those cards are from the dollar store. I've been looking for cheap cards for 15 years. This is the best I've found.
Well, I was going to take it. I'm just debating whether or not there is something that I can have pre-written in that is in like, you know, a handwritten, and then at the bottom, make it the note very personal, like a one line or a 2-line personal. And then I also know to make the envelope stand out, it should be a different color, but I was going to take it one step further and maybe do kind of like a wax seal on the back, just so it doesn't look like any other something that they get in the mail.
I hear that. A good alternative, or kind of a good way to do what you're talking about, is just write the letter, right? You could type the letter and then you could hand sign it or something like that so they know you actually touched it and it wasn't such a mass mail. But I would encourage you to pair this initiative with at least one other step, right? So don't just send it to the 110 people and expect the floodgates to open. You're probably gonna have to knock on the door a week later and say, I'm Kimberly. As I mentioned, I live in the community. I love it here. I'm sure you do too. That letter was real, right? We do have buyers that want to move into the community. Are you thinking about selling? Do you know of anyone that's thinking about selling? And when it comes to real estate, who is it that you trust? You're right there. Hey, here's my digital business card, or here's my business card. Can I take your information down? By the way, we've got this really cool technology called Neighborhood Nurture. I can set you up on it right now from my phone, right? So don't remember what we talked about mailers. In order for you to get like known, so to speak, the research suggests you're probably gonna have to mail them for somewhere between 1.5 years to 2 years, right? So make sure that if mailing is gonna be part of your strategy, that not only are you aware of the fact that it's a super long game and quite expensive, it's also fairly passive. I know it feels like it's a lot of work, but once it leaves your hands, you don't really have much control over whether they even notice that it has a wax seal on it, right? The other alternative is to call that whole neighborhood and come at them and say, look, how can I help you today, right?
Oh.
Are you thinking about selling? Knocking on the door. Hey, I'm a realtor. I'm right here. What can I do to help you? I got all kinds of tools, resources, technology. I'd like to help you. When it comes to real estate, who do you trust? I'm right here, right? Because there may be other agents in the community that drop a few $100 every single month mailing them stuff, but how many of them are showing up at the front door saying, I'm here to help, right? So whenever you're thinking about doing some type of initiative, I want you to think to yourself, how much control do I have over this? Is this a passive form of working or a more active form of working? More active form of working is like door knocking, cold calls, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but at least you got more control over it. Passive work tends to be more expensive and you have less control over it. Make sense? And it's hard to like spend a few $100 on a mailer and then not get any action. And you're probably not going to get any action the first time. It takes time to really build up that reputation.
Well, I've researched the realtors who A, live in this neighborhood and B, work this neighborhood. And there's one dominant one and she has no marketing collateral whatsoever. Her website is atrocious, but because she's lived here since the neighborhood was built, which was 20 years ago, and she's played tennis on the women's senior tennis, she's been able to network. My purpose is to get out there and say, you're not the only one in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
And I'm actually going to be doing some more and then getting involved in the neighborhood as well. But it is just my first attempt. And I am going to enter those names into Command and then start my own, what I'm going to be doing to nurture them through, just so they know, because they're in my age group, the ones that have lived here for 20 years, 10 years, and they have substantial equity in each of their homes.
Just make sure the first touch should be a personable touch
Mhm.
rather than like, oh, I just got some spam looking email from this random woman who says she's in the
No,
neighborhood.
that's why I'm going to do the card and then we'll do a follow-up. And no, I'm going to have several ways of going about it. But then I'm also going to do the same thing with some other key neighborhoods that the dominant realtor is not even looking at because she's just picking low-hanging fruit at this point.
Just so, what is your definition of dominant? When somebody has how much market share in a neighborhood?
Well, if a house goes up for sale, I know it's this woman's name.
Okay, my assistant and I researched neighborhoods in Metro Atlanta a couple years ago. We looked at over 2,000 neighborhoods, and literally there was less than 5 that had a dominant agent. And dominant agent, in my eyes, is more than 25% of the market share.
Hmm.
It might surprise you.
Well, I just see her face and name, but there's like with little marketing at all. But she also has an office at the end of my subdivision in next to a Publix.
Mhm.
So, I mean, she's there, but
Well, you'll penetrate that by personal connections.
yeah, that's
that's
my
the-
start. And then the neighborhoods, because there's a lot of development around me. So that is.
One other thing that we can do, we're going to be probably making a couple of announcements here in the next week or so about Red Day. Red Day is a day that all of the Keller Williams offices across the country, really across the world, shut down. We close, staffs off and everything. And we go out into the community and do a service project. So one of the things that we're going to do this year is the Foster Care Foundation, where we're, collecting things like, backpacks and school supplies and clothes and toys and these kind of things. Because of COVID, they were limited to the number of people that can do each thing. So we're looking for a few different projects, but nothing could stop you from saying, to add like a charitable component to that piece of marketing, right? Hey, I'm going to be at the Publix from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock on Thursday collecting canned goods for this particular charity. I'd love to meet you. Would you be able to stop by? We're going to have some, coffee and cookies or whatever, right? It could even be at your house so they know that you're a local.
Mhm.
So like,
That's a good idea.
how can you pair your desire to meet people in the community with their desire to feel good about themselves by doing something for others? See what I'm saying?
Mhm. I mean, the only caveat on that is I live in one county and I'm actually going to be physically participating in for the foster care on Red Day, but it's in another county. So sometimes people are a little funny about, well, you're not helping our own county. Or
Can I be blunt with you? That's in your head. I wouldn't worry about that. hey, I'm collecting money for children that need backpacks because they came to the foster care facility with the clothes that they were wearing. They don't even have a freaking toothbrush. Okay. Would you like to donate? They're not going to say, is this Cherokee County, Fulton County?
Well, it was that way in Florida. That's the only, I mean,
No one
one
talks
county
about
that
county.
can
No one
hit,
talks
yeah.
about counties here. The counties are so big, it doesn't make a difference. What's the name of your neighborhood one more time? Bridgeville.
Bridgeville.
I'm just going to do 2 seconds of research if you can entertain my my deep curiosity real fast. Okay. I'm looking in Bridge Mill, just so we know. Bridge Mill's in Canton, huge neighborhood. What'd you say, 2,000 something homes?
2,800 homes.
I'm looking for all the sales in the last 365 days. And I'm just going to scan this list of agents that were a part of it. And I'm going to try to guess who the dominant agent is in your idea. Okay. Because I'm going to prove to you that she's not actually as dominant. Okay. The first 23. So somebody Hollingsworth has two deals. Everyone else is Jen Goddard has 2 deals. Jennifer Giraldi has 2 deals. There's another one for Hollingsworth.
Are they all Remax?
That's not the screen I'm looking at right now.
No, okay.
John Monroe looks like he has 2 deals. These are people that have, Molly McCrory has 2
Yeah,
deals.
that's the one, Molly McCurry.
Okay, so, all right, so let's go back.
Remax, Town and Country.
I know she's the broker owner, which is a whole different discussion on competing with her agents, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay, so let's just do some quick math, okay? So Molly, of the last 50 homes that have sold in there, hang on, 1. This will be fun. 2. Are y'all having fun? I'm gonna be a comedian when this whole real estate thing is over. Okay, as crazy as it sounds, she's only listed 3 properties there are 4 properties according to FMLS that have sold in the last 365 days. Okay, so of the 190 properties that have sold in that community in the last 365 days, she was the listing agent on 4 of them. She is not the dominant agent. There is no dominant agent here.
yeah, I would though, I want to look down and see what Remax Town and Country, because she has quite a large office here. So,
Yep.
but my point was that they do very little marketing.
I can tell because she's only had 4 units. Okay, so I want you to get that out of your mind that somebody else owns the neighborhood. This neighborhood is wide open, wide open. You have a dog?
No, but I have a grandson.
Walk that grandson around every damn street.
We
there.
already
Every
my
day.
husband does walking just about every day.
You guys could, all you have to do is buy a dog or buy a grandson and walk that thing up and down all the streets and meet all the neighbors. You'll be clobbering Molly McCreary, whatever her name is. No
Yeah,
time.
my husband actually found a potential listing, but it's not going to be for about a year and a half, of someone who's going to be downsizing. So I'm going to be working on that as well.
Year and a half, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Sell that thing right now. Price has never been better. Why are we waiting a year and a half?
Well, we'll take that conversation with this particular woman. I mean, her home's right on the lake, so it's nice.
Hey, I'm curious. We've got the strongest sellers market we have ever seen. There's less than 2 weeks of inventory. I just got to ask you, I'm just so curious. What's significant about waiting a year and a half before you move?
Still has a teenager in-house, and I think they're going to finish school. That was all.
Oh, well, she's downsizing. like we talked about earlier this morning, she could sell a $600,000 house for more than she ever thought she could. She can go move into maybe the same school district and keep the kid in school. Just ask an extra question. Ask an extra question, okay?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna follow through with what my husband started. He's the town crier right now.
Smart. You got the husband as the town crier, and you got a grandson that you walk it up and down all these streets. We're gonna be talking about you being the dominant agent in a couple months.
Well, and we do have a chocolate lab, but he's the grand puppy. We're good.
All right.
It's
I
putting
appreciate
everything into
everybody here.
place.
Please take a moment. Please take a moment to report your numbers. Thank you so much. Keep coming in the morning. Let's I know you guys are capable of major big things. Okay. We just need a win. So the only way we're going to get a win is by getting it back, right? Taking some swings. Let's go have some conversations. We'll book some appointments. We'll start feeling real good. Make sense?
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Take care now, guys.